today's video, we are going to discuss gender and sexuality across time. Pero bago ang lahat, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin nito? Tara, tayo maglakbay patungo sa mundo ng puno ng impormasyon. Okay, so gender is about how we identify and express ourselves. Hindi lang ito tungkol sa boy or girl, mas complex siya. Gender identity, ito yung pagkakakilanlan mo sa sarili mo. Ikaw ba ay lalaki, babae, non-binary, gender fluid, or iba pa? Gender expression, ito naman yung kung paano mo ipinapakita ang gender mo sa mundo through fashion, behavior, or mannerism. Ano naman ang sexuality? Ito naman ay tungkol sa kung kanino ka na-attract, romantically or sexually. Maraming types ng sexuality at lahat ay valid. Heterosexual, attracted sa opposite gender. Homosexual, attracted sa same gender. It can be lesbian and gay. Bisexual, attracted sa both men and women. Pansexual, attracted as gender regardless of gender. Asexual, little to no sexual attraction. After nating matalakay kung ano nga ba ang gender and sexuality, let us learn on how society changes over time. But first, alamin muna natin ang ibig sabihin ng patriarchy and feminism. Pero bago yan, ano nga ba ang pinagmula ng patriarchy and feminism? The term patriarchy came from the Greek word patria, means family, and dark means rule. Pero, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin nito kapag pinagsama-sama natin ito? Charan! The rule of the father. Ang ibig sabihin nito ay men hold power particularly in family, political, and social structures. Since wala ngang pantay na karapatan noon ng mga kababaihan, tanging mga gawaing bahay lamang ang ginagawa sa society noon pagdating sa mga kababaihan. Additionally, a patrilineal society back in the old days followed patriarchal society. This means men can only inherit properties and family names. The practice of men inheriting the family name is a reflection of patriarchal culture in which family's lineage and inheritance were traced through the father. Men were viewed as the primary inheritors and surname serves to cement their crown and possession. Women will change their surname upon marriage to take their husband's name, signifying a shifting of legal and social obligation. This was enhanced by cultural, religious, and legal system which favors patriarchal dominance and inheritance along the father's lineage. Ayon naman kay Friedrich Engels, isang German philosopher and sociologist, patriarchy came about when people started having private property instead of communal living. The development in agriculture and domestication of animals led to product surplus, which allows people to have a private property. Male dominance was asserted over women, so only heirs can inherit family wealth. Teka, nakakalito naman. Anong ibig sabihin mo nito? Ang ibig sabihin lang nito ay nagsimula ng magbago ang pamumuhay ng mga tao mula sa komunidad patungo sa pagkakaroon ng mga pribadong pagmamayari. Nang matutunan ang agrikultura at pag-aalaga ng hayop, ay dito na masasabi na nagkaroon talaga ng maraming ani ng halimbawa ay mga gulay o palay at yaman na naging sanhi ng pag-aari ng lalaki sa isang property. Dahil dito, sila may kontrol sa mga ari-arian at nagsimula ang sistema na ang mga lalaki lang daw ang pwedeng magmana kaya naging dominanteng sistema ang patriarchy sa lipunan. Dahil nga sa papaunlad tayo noon or what we called evolution. Ngayon, nalaman na natin ang meaning ng patriarchy, ano naman kaya ang feminism? The term feminism is primarily the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of the equality of the sexes. Feminists believe in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. In other words, feminism is a battle against sexism and discrimination against women. The concept of feminism is built on the belief that women should be allowed to have the same rights, opportunities, and power as men and be treated in the same way. Halimbawa na lamang ng mga pinaglalaban noon. Pagkakapantay-pantay ng pagkakataon sa pagtatrabaho. Maaaring dapat na magkaroon ang kababaihan ng parehong pagkakataon na makapasok sa isang posisyon sa isang kumpanya katulad ng isang lalaki. Kung ang isang kumpanya ay may mga patakaran na nagdidiskrimina laban sa mga babae, ito ay isang halimbawa ng sikismo na nilalabanan ng feminism. At isa pang halimbawa ay since back in the old age, hindi kasi pinapayagan ang mga kababaihan na bumoto sa mga halalan or makisali sa usaping politikal. Dahil dito ay maraming kilusan ang nabuo. Halimbawa na lamang nito ay ang Gabriela Party List na lumalaban para sa pagkakapantay-pantay ng mga kasarian, labanan ng karahasan especially sa mga kababaihan at pagtanggal sa diskriminasyon. Since society progresses through time, it means that our society is progressing or nakikisabay sa kung ano nga ba ang mga kaganapan sa ating society ngayon. Since in our time, learning and having information is a lot easier since we are in a digital age where information is everywhere. This gives us an opportunity to examine our social and political conditions. For the longest time, this we call evolution that gives us privileged men or women over other genders. Alam niyo ba, noong sinaunang panahon, sobrang ibang trato sa mga babae, yung as in feeling mo minsan unfair pa rin hanggang sa society natin ngayon. Trust me, mas malala pa noon. Now, let's break it down by civilization. For the Greeks, Aristotle, Plato, and other Greek philosophers viewed women as the inferior sex and are properties of man, whose only job was to obey their husband, bear their children, and take care of the household. They were forbidden to learn science, philosophy, and politics. Halimbawa, kung ikaw ay pinanganak ka noon as a Greek woman, forget your dreams. Kahit gusto mong maging scientist or leader, nope, hindi siya pwede. Ang pinaka-goal mo lang is magpakasal at magkaanak. For the Egypt, Herodotus, a Greek historian, observed the Egyptian civilization, citing that Egyptian women enjoyed higher social status than Greek women because they can inherit property and engage in trade and politics. However, Greek influence quickly spread in Egypt through the conquest of Alexander the Great across Asia and Africa. Kung nabubuhay ka sa ancient Egypt, may mas chance kang maging independent. Imagine, may Egyptian queens na powerful gaya ni Hatshepsut at Cleopatra, leader sila at hindi lamang sila kilala bilang asawa ng hari. Pero, nang sinakop ng Greece and Egypt dahil kay Alexander the Great, unti-unti ito nawala. Yung freedom ng Egyptian woman, nag-recreate ang culture at bumalik sa pagiging patriarchal ang sistema. Confucianism has stringent written rules that dictate how women should conduct themselves. The written documents titled Three Obediences and Four Virtues and Precepts of Woman states that woman should obey their father. When married, she is to obey her husband, and when widowed, she is to obey her son. Isipin mo, parang nasa strict family ka na hindi mo talaga kaya maging independent kahit gusto mong mag-business, mag-aral, hindi ikaw ang may final say. Lagi kang may kailangan sundin na lalaki sa buhay mo. Women have come a long way since the ancient times through the feminist movement. However, patriarchy has taken on subtle forms of oppression that often go unnoticed such as sexism, prejudice, stereotypes, and discrimination based on sex, gender pay gap, men earn more than women, underrepresentation in politics, military, executive position, and etc., rape on women, and the stigma making women ashamed to report a crime, very conservative expectation on women on how they behave. Unrealistic depictions of women in fiction often very sexualized. Women do more housework and childcare. Boys were trained to be leaders while women were trained to do house chores.
Hi! So, let's now tackle about women empowerment. Guys, can you imagine, back in the dinosaurs, bawal bumoto yung mga babae. Like, seryoso? Oo! Hindi sila pinapayagan magtrabaho sa mga office, bawal sa politics, tapos dapat stay at home lang. As in, magluluto lang ng ulam, maglalaba lang, mag-aalaga ng bata, yun lang. Parang, girl, you can do more than that. Since super patriarchal ang society, meaning, puro lalaki lang yung may power. Sila lang pwede magdesisyon, sila lang pwede magtrabaho at mag-lead. Yung babae, para lang daw sa bahay at pamilya. Mas malala pa, hindi sila pwedeng tumanggi sa kahit anong gusto ng isang lalaki. Kung anong sabihin ng tatay, ng asawa nila, o kahit anak na lalaki, yun na yung final. Papayag ka ba? Siyempre, hindi tayo papayag na ganun. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng feminist movement. So, dito, lumaban yung mga kababaihan para sa basic rights nila. First wave feminism, yan yung nag-push para makaboto yung mga babae. So, second wave feminism, dito na pinaglalaban yung equality sa trabaho, reproductive rights, at laban sa domestic violence. So, hanggang ngayon, merong third at fourth wave feminism na patuloy na lumalaban para sa gender equality. Gusto mo yun? Siyempre, gusto natin yun. Pero ano nga ba yung feminist movement? Since curious din ako, edi tara, aralin natin. So, ito na nga, one of the underlying issues that continues to plague women is misogyny. This is the hatred of or aversion to or prejudice against women. Over the years, misogyny has evolved as an ideology that men are superior to women in all aspects of life. There have been multiple movements to try and fight this prejudice. The feminist movement, which refers to a series of political campaigns for reform on a variety of issues that affect women's quality of life. Although there have been feminist movements all over the world, this section will focus on the four eras of the feminist movement. So, yun na nga. Fast forward to today na mas maraming rights ang women, pero hindi pa tapos yung laban. May gender pay gap pa rin, no? May workplace discrimination, tapos may stigma pa rin sa strong independent women. So, let's be real, di lang ito para sa girls, no? Nakikinabang din yung men sa equality. Imagine, wala nang pressure na sila lang dapat mag-provide. So, win-win, di ba? To put simply, feminism demands equality. So here are a few salient points that feminism demands. Una, women's suffrage. Women were not allowed to vote before kasi they were viewed as irrational and temperamental and therefore not able to make rational decisions daw. Pero this changed after World War I, 1914 to 1918, wherein women were uprooted from the household. They took on jobs and made significant contributions to their country. Many countries soon started letting women vote since they can no longer argue that women are irrational and temperamental. Number 2, equality in politics and society. For hundreds of years, women's voices were silenced, so society must make an effort to restore their rights. Representation is very important for women so that their genuine concerns are heard in politics and in society. Feminists have always criticized that old, privileged men always make the decisions for women at home and in politics. Number 3, reproductive rights means the woman is in control of her body and she can decide for herself on what she sees is best for her. Contraception, abortion, and other reproductive options should be available to women kasi it's their body. Kaya nga may kasabihan, my body, my rules. Number 4, domestic violence, such as marital rape and physical abuse, are often dismissed by society as part of a marriage. Although we have RA 9262 or anti-violence against women and their children, our culture still dismisses such incidents as away mag-asawa. Number 5, sexual harassment and sexual violence. The Center for Women's Resources in the Philippines estimates that one woman or child is raped every hour, mostly by someone they know. Number 6, other rights include the right to divorce their husbands, the right to make decisions on their pregnancy, equitable wages, and equal employment opportunities. Sa susunod naman tayo, alam niyo ba, gender studies, hindi lang siya para sa girls or tungkol sa mga babae. Like, hello! Para to sa lahat, no? O, as in lahat. Imagine mo na lang mga 100 taon. So, ang OA, yung mga babae hindi pinapayagan mag-aral sa university. Like, what? Ang role nila puro bahay lang, lutong ulam, maglaba, alaga ng bata. Parang sabi ko nga kanina, girl, you're more than that. Like, really more than that. Pero pinipigilan sila noon at hindi lang yon, burden din sa mga lalaki kasi sila lang yung kailangan mag-provide. Parang ang bigat, di ba? Sobrang bigat. Ito na nga, sa panahon ngayon, iba na ang eksena, hindi na puro lakas at macho, power ang labanan sa trabaho. Marami ng trabaho na open para sa girls and boys. Equal lang, kaya yung moms may work na rin at hindi lang si father yung nagpo-provide. Di ba nga, may kasabihan tayo ngayon na hustle culture is real. Lahat nag-hustle para sa family, para sa goals. Hashtag working mom, hashtag working dad. Tapos ngayon, iisipin mo, tama pa ba na sabihin ang lalaki lang ang provider? Pareho na silang may work, may kita, may ambag sa pamilya. Ang gender studies parang sinasabi sa atin, bestie, question mo naman yan, huwag tayong stuck sa luma. Luma na nga eh. So for the next one, you know guys, like gender roles, they're super socially constructed. Hindi siya something na you're born with, okay? Society kasi, like since bata pa tayo, they normalize certain behaviors and parang ina-adjust tayo to fit these expectations. So like for example, a young boy, they always say, be brave dude, play rough. Don't cry bro, if you show weakness, parang people will say, huy, lalaki ka pa naman. And girls naman, lagi nilang sinasabi, be gentle ha, be soft lang, wag masyadong loud. If you're a girl who's super kulit and loud like me, people will tell you to tone it down. And when they don't follow those gender roles, ayun na, reprimands from parents, titas, barkadas, or kahit random people na feeling close ka, learn. That's gender norm na pinipilit sa atin our whole lives. Diba? Now, here's the tea na nga, LGBTQ plus people like lesbians, gay, bisexual, and transgender people super don't fit in sa binary gender roles. So, society often bullies them, discriminates them, and make them feel like you're not normal, which is so unfair, diba? Like, what is normal anyway? That's why, guys, gender studies is so important. It helps us analyze why these norms exist and how to not let them create inequality sa society, politics, and even sa economy. Kasi at the end of the day, dapat everyone can just live their lives. Walang judgment, walang hate. Like, period. For today's chika naman, pag-uusapan naman natin is about gender and sexuality as a subject of inquiry. Baka isipin mo, bakit kailangan pa itong pag-aralan? Ba, syempre! So, stay tuned.
Somebody in another skin. I heard that you're happy without me, and now it's true.
So, ito na nga, yung gender role o sex role ay tinatawag na sets of culturally defined behaviors. Ibig sabihin, ito yung mga kilos at ugali na tinuro sa atin kung paano daw dapat umasta ang isang lalaki o babae. Desisyon, di ba? So, ayon sa Encyclopedia of Sex and Gender noong 2019, kasama dito yung pagiging masculine para sa lalaki at pagiging feminine para sa babae. Pero ang tanong, fix ba to? Hindi! Kiss yun! So, ang mga gender roles ay pwedeng magbago depende sa panahon at lugar. Halimbawa, 50 years ago, iba yung expectation sa mga babae at lalaki kumpara ngayon. At sa ibang bansa o tribo, iba rin yung mga pinaniniwalaan nilang gender behaviors. Pero sa tinatawag na binary systems ng gender roles, dalawa lang yung nakikita, lalaki at babae. Dito, yung mga lalaki expected na maging matipuno o matapang at ang mga babae expected na mahinhin at feminine. Example, yung lalaki dapat hindi umiiyak or ang babae dapat marunong sa gawaing bahay. Narinig mo na ba lahat yan? Yan yung norms na gusto nilang i-challenge. Gusto nating i-challenge lahat. So, gender studies, tinuturuan tayo na i-question at i-disrupt tong mga social expectations na to. Hindi dahil lalaki ka, hindi ka na pwedeng maging malambing. Hindi dahil babae ka, hindi ka din pwedeng maging leader o matapang. That's a no-no, guys. Kaya next time na may maririnig kang stereotype, isipin mo muna, sino nga ba yung nagsabi na dapat ka dito, ha? At susunod ka. So, hindi ba tayo rin yung gumagawa ng norms na yan? Kaya rin natin baguhin yan. So, let's break the box. As in, break the box.
Paano masabi?
So ayun na nga, after natin pag-usapan kung paano society and culture influence gender roles and diversity, let's dive deeper into gender studies and research. Kasi hindi lang ito puro theories, but also understanding people through research-based knowledge. First things first, what is gender studies and research? It's a process where researchers like students, teachers, or experts follow a systematic approach. Identifying problems or questions, check. Making hypotheses or assumptions, check. Gathering data, check. And making conclusions, check. Basically, it's a full-on investigative process na may structure. We don't just guess. We observe, collect, and analyze. Approaches in research. Now, syempre, hindi lang isang paraan to do research. Depende sa topic, may iba't ibang approach. Kagaya ng qualitative approach. Qualitative approach, this is one is more focused on understanding stories, experiences, and opinions. Like, if you want to know how LGBTQ+ individuals experience discrimination or how women balance work and family life, qualitative research is the best. Some methods dito ay phenomenology, is interviewing people to understand their personal life experiences. Hermeneutics, analyzing texts, artworks, or literature to see what they say about society and gender. Ethnography, immersing in communities to understand their beliefs, attitudes, and practices. Quantitative approach. On the other hand, this one's more about numbers and statistics. Perfecto if you want to measure how many Filipino teens are in relationships,
Sana all.
or how many still believe in marriage. Methods include surveys, straightforward, ask questions, collect answers, experiments, setting up scenarios to observe how people behave, comparing experimental and control groups. Mixed methods. Some researchers combine both kasi minsan, numbers and stories together give the clearest picture. Now, eto, super important. Ethics. We can just gather information from people without protecting them. Researchers must follow certain principles. Informed consent. Participants need to know what the study is about and dapat nakasulat na they agree to join. Confidentiality and anonymity. No sharing of identities. Everything should be stored securely. Non-maleficence and beneficence. In short, do not harm and make sure may benefit ang research sa community. Distributive justice. Make sure no one is disadvantaged, especially marginalized groups. Fairness for all. Lastly, let's look at how gender and sexuality interact with human ecology. This simply means na our environment, physical, social, cultural, economic, all play a role in shaping how we see gender and sexuality. As we grow and move through life, those environments influence us. A human ecological approach sees, number 1, gender and sexuality as personal experiences unique for each person, and 2, how those experiences are affected by larger social structures around us. So ayun guys, gender studies and research help us not just to understand society, but also to ask the right questions, challenge norms, and build a more inclusive world. Kaya next time you see gender issues trending, remember, there's research and science behind these conversations, and we all have the power to learn and question. So ayun guys, at the end of the day, gender isn't just about being girl ka ba or boy. It's way more complex, socially constructed, and it even changes depending sa culture and panahon. Kaya kung feeling mo minsan nalilito ka na sa dami ng gender roles and expectations, same! Pero that's why we study it. To understand how society sometimes boxes us in and how we can break free and promote equality. And let's be real, hindi lang ito chika or pa-deep talks sa group chats. Psychology, sociology, medicine, and law are also part of the convo. Lahat sila may say para mas magets natin paano nabubuo ang gender norms na minsan nakaka-stress talaga. Pwede na! So if gusto mo magpa-level up from, ano daw? To, okay, gets ko na. This lesson got your back with all the juicy theories and real-life examples. Remember, gender and sexuality are not exams na dapat puro memorization. They're part of life na dapat natin intindihin. With a little help from science, common sense, and konting chika, diba? Now you're officially woke and educated. Bye!